Okay, welcome to lecture number 5. Usual, let me just do a quick recap for us and then we'll get down to business for today. So here we go. Okay. So you can remember, for the last, I think, 2 to 3 weeks, we've been looking mainly at what you see in this particular page of the handout. Well, we began by looking at some of the considerations that we should bear in mind whenever we are leading groups, in particular, counseling groups. Example, we are to be thinking about intents. So sometimes, right, our intents will directly influence what sort of techniques we want to be using at any point in time in leading a group. For example, if my intent is to acknowledge, then I may be using responses, techniques like paraphrasing, empathizing, and giving feedback. However, if my intent is to explore, then I may be using questions. I may be using clarifying. If my intent is to challenge, then I may be using techniques like reframing, playing a hunch, noting a discrepancy, and all that. So more often than not, our intent at any moment in the group counseling session will greatly influence which technique, which response we will use during the session itself. Other considerations also include things like the who, isn't it? So this is where I'm sure you know by now that when we lead groups, the who usually make the counseling process a little bit more difficult. What do I mean? At different points in time in the session, we may want to focus on either the individual member within the group or a subgroup within the large group, or even the entire group itself. Got it? So the who, more often than not, may also influence how we respond at different junctions in the group counseling session. Another consideration is the what. What do we mean by the what? Well, the what is really what we want the group to be talking about, to be focusing on. Once again, if our focus is on feelings, we may want to be asking, directing the group to talk about feelings. But sometimes we may want the group to talk about behaviors or even thoughts, or sometimes the larger picture called experience. So once again, this becomes a consideration that may influence how we respond during any moment in the group counseling session. Other considerations also include the when, isn't it? So very important. The when here refers to the past, the present, the here and the now is called immediacy, and even the future. And finally, the where. So the where here refers to inside the group as well as outside the group. Okay, so all these considerations will have a huge bearing on what we do at any moment in any group counseling session. After that, what do we do? After I spend time unpacking all these considerations, we then spend a bit of our time looking at over here. This one. The 15 group counseling responses. What are they? Well, we covered things like opening, closing, we covered things like attending, we covered things like empathizing, paraphrasing, giving feedback, and of course we covered things like questioning, clarifying, directing, as well as last week, quite a fair bit, playing a hunch, noting a theme, noting a discrepancy, noting a connection, reframing, and last but not least, the final two, allowing silence as well as self-disclosing. Okay, so that's what we did. I think about 2.5 sessions, basically. Yeah, all the way to now. Okay, Any questions for me about where we are at before we get rolling for tonight? I've been clear so far.
I have one quick question. Sorry, Lawrence.
Go for it.
For our group project, right? You said we have to use all 15 responses? Or...
I'll come to that later. Okay. In fact, right, the group project, there's no need for you to mention about the 15 techniques. The 15 techniques is solely required for your role play, your mock-up role play. Got it? So for the project, there's no need to mention whatsoever the 15 techniques, the 15 responses. Okay? So very important to remember that. So I'll talk a bit more about the role play and the transcript after tonight. Because tonight, like I said, I'm going to be going through a real group counseling session with all of us, plus a transcript. So after tonight, when I talk about the transcript, you'll be very clear to all of you already. So I'll get to that soon. Other questions, clarifications for me before we continue? Okay, okay, good. So my friends, tonight is going to be purely application work. So it's going to be good. For once, you can stop hearing my voice. I mean, I said you still hear my voice, but I will not be the only voice that you will hear tonight. Okay, so tonight, my job is only one. My job is to process with you a real life group counseling session. What's going to happen in a moment is I will be, okay, I think the transcript is already been uploaded in your Dropbox now. But no worry, I will also upload it over at the Zoom chat as well. Okay, no problem. So what's going to happen is I'll be uploading the transcript. I will then be playing the group counseling session. I'll be playing that video. And as we go along the way, as usual, I'll be pausing the recording and talking to you about what seems to be going on. What is the counselor trying to do at different segments of the session, so that you can begin to understand how the 15 techniques gets played out, gets applied in a real group counseling session. All still with me, my friends? Okay, so tonight, I really hope that it will really tie things up for you in a more pragmatic manner. Okay, without further ado, let's get straight down to work, shall we? Okay, so for those of you who happen to spot the transcript, either you have downloaded it from the Dropbox, you can do that. The title of the attachment is called Transcript 1. But no worry, I'll upload it here at the Zoom chat as well. So let me just give me a while. Let me just upload it. Okay, let me figure this. Okay. Okay, you will see your Zoom group chat. There's a particular PDF file. It's called Transcript Session 1. Transcript Session 1. Like I said, if you can't see it in your Zoom chat, you may want to go to the Dropbox to locate this particular attachment. It's called Transcript Bracket Session 1. Transcript Bracket Session 1. Anybody got difficulties locating the attachment? All can find? All can find, Steady, kamsia. Thank you very much. If you can't find, you can always, let me see. Okay, good. Oh, never mind. Okay. If you can't find, you can always type your difficulties in Zoom chat. Then my good friend Bernie will attend to you. Okay, Angel. Yes, okay, no problem. Angel, are you able to look at the Dropbox? No way, no problem. Then, you maybe can leave your email, Angel, on the Zoom chat. Then my good friend Bernie will then email to you. That's right.
Thanks, Lawrence.
No problem. So matter. Anyway, I'm not doing the work. Bernie is doing the work. Wow, very few chances can tekan Bernie. That's right. No, Bernie is a very good friend of mine. Yeah, so I'm sure it's a pleasure for her to do this for me. Any other people? Any others who are having difficulty locating the attachment?
In Jackie. Oh, okay.
Can I? Let me see. Okay. Judith also. Can Judith? Same thing, Judith. Can you leave your email there as well, so that Bernie can also email you the attachment as well? Okay. Anyone else? Difficulty locating the attachment? Thanks, Judith. Yeah. I trust all have by now. Okay, steady, So here we go. So before, let me see. Okay, good. So Rebati as well, Bernie. Good. So now before I show you the video, right? Let me walk you through the transcript, so you're with me. Come, let's take a look together. Okay, my again. Okay. Is what you have downloaded the same as what I'm showing on the screen? All same, similar, sweet. Thank you. Very good. So now let me try to unpack for you. How can you make sense of this transcript as we watch the video together? Very important. Over here. Now, my friends, I want you to focus on, right, those rows where you see the word counselor. Over here. Example, circle for you. This one. This one. This one. Okay. Now, notice, my friends, for those rows, right, that belongs to the counselor, notice at the third column, it includes the actual response by the group counselor plus an explanation of what she's doing. What do I mean? Take a look, over here, this line. Okay. Guys, can you see the word in caps, opening? What does opening refers to? It refers to one of the 15 group counseling techniques I've taught you. Can you all follow me, my friends? So very simple. Whenever you read the transcript, when you come across a counselor response, guess what? With the response, there will always come with a second line in the transcript that will explain to you, that will identify for you what technique is the counselor using at this junction of the session. Can you all follow me so far, my friends? Anybody blur by now? All okay, Good. Then can you see over here? To acknowledge, can you see or not? To acknowledge refers to what? To acknowledge refers to what? The intent. Got it? The intent. Okay? Then can you see the word after that? Group. Group refers to the who consideration. Can you all follow me so far? Then the word experience refers to what? The what? The what consideration. Can you all follow me so far? Anybody lost by now? All okay, Now, you'll find that in some other responses, right, the second line will also include the where and the when as well. Got it? So pretty very simply now is this, whenever you come across any counselor response, you will always find the response followed by an explanation of the technique that she's using and all the considerations I've taught you so far. Got it? So that will help us to better able to make sense what is going on at different junctions in the group counseling session. Okay. Now later on, you also notice that there will be what? There will be blanks as well. Come, let me show you. Wow. Hey. Now here, if you take a look, okay, this page. What page number is that? 66. Can you see down here? 1A30. On that, what happens? 1A30, you have the group counselor response. But notice there is blank here, as well as blank here. Are you with me? So later on, right, when we get to this junction, then I will lead you to think about what should go into these blanks. Got it? So by the time tonight is over, I hope you will be able to become more clear about when do we use what technique at different junctions in the group counseling sessions. Okay, without further ado, let's get straight down to work, shall we? So here we go. Okay, so very important, my friends. So as you watch the video, make sure you keep the transcript somewhere in your screen. Got it? So that you can be following the video along clearly. Okay? Then of course then we'll process it together. Okay, so here we go. But this particular video is copyrighted. So so I need you to pause, stop, whatever. Correct. Thank you. Sorry, quite a bit of work for you to do tonight. But it's okay. If you need to go, whatever, I will settle. Don't worry about it. I will keep track of it.
Okay.
For a few reasons. First reason, could I get you to look at your transcript? Okay. I want you to read through 1A12 followed by 1A13. Let me show it to you on the transcript. Yeah. This part. 1A12 followed by 1A13. Read through that again, if you can. All done? 1A12 followed by 1A13. Now comes my question to you. Why did the group counselor did what she did at 1A13?
Because she needs to own her emotions or something like that.
Steady lah, Rebecca. That's right. Sorry, before that, Judith, something to ask me, Judith? No, okay, it's okay. Can no. Rebecca, yes. Can explain your answer a bit for the rest of us to know? You're there already, actually. What gave you this idea? That's right.
Yeah, because in 1A12, she said, how do you? She is directing it, projecting it outwards, but counselor is trying to get her to internalize, how do I? So she owns the question and the direction that this conversation is going.
Steady lah, Rebecca. That's right. So all can follow what she's saying. My friends, later on, as we go for the next stage, the next part of the module, you will hear me talk to you about this idea called global language. So what do I mean by global language? My friends, a lot of us, me included, okay? Sometimes, as we are talking about ourselves, right, we may use words like, we husbands are, we men are, right? We women are, or we wives are, isn't it? So guess what? This is considered global language. And why might this be a problem, you might ask, in counseling? Well, when I use global language like we husbands are, we wives are, we employees are, guess what? I may not actually be taking full responsibility for what I'm saying. I'm hiding behind this label. Oh, we husbands are. Are you getting my point? But when I replace we husbands are with I, so I say, oh, we husbands are sometimes can be quite arrogant. That's why I say that. Oh, it's a very different matter when I replace it with I sometimes feel rather arrogant. Can you see that, my friends? Just by swapping the global term, we husbands are sometimes arrogant with I sometimes are arrogant. It makes a whole lot of difference here. So same thing here. So as our dear Linda is talking about how do you, actually she's referring to how do I, but the group counselor wanted her to take ownership of this struggle. How do I allow my children to make choices in their life? How do I? So pretty very simply, the group counselor is already what? Role modeling for the rest of the group that she wants them to use more internalized language rather than globalized language. So by she correcting Linda here, she's sending home a very clear message that from now on, I want you to only represent yourself rather than to be hiding behind some globalized language, running away from something. Up to this point, are you still with me? Okay, huh? And notice, my friends, this technique, what technique is that? Directing. Can you see that? Remember what I taught you under directing? We look at the word directing, you think about director, isn't it? So in this case, right, the counselor literally cut, isn't it? She didn't call cut, but the way she come in, how do I? Guess what? She's already telling Linda, cut. And then what? Replace the we with the word I. Got it? So it's a very, very, very subtle but well-intended direction that the counselor did to change the focus to get Linda to be making that change on the spot. That's why it's called challenging. Directing. Intention to challenge. Why? Is to challenge Linda to replace the we word with the I word. Of course, the who is individual. And of course, the behavior is, why is that behavior? Because it's a verbal word. So it's to get her to change this behavior of using the we word to now become the I word. All right. Notice, the group counselor is still focusing a lot on who? Dorothy, isn't it? Right? Why is that so? Like I said, she wanted to make sure that Dorothy feels included. Thank God she did, isn't it? What's Dorothy mentioned just now, right? That she actually felt lonely, right? Why lonely? Because she said she probably will never feel the joy of what Sue and Linda is feeling. She ended up feeling lonely. That's why it's so important that for the group counselor to include Dorothy in by spending quite a bit of time on her. If not, Dorothy probably will remain quiet for the rest of the session. One thing, did you notice on the video that while Dorothy talks, the group counselor was looking at her and she also looked elsewhere. You saw that? So what do you call that? We call that scanning. Remember I told you that? Attending. So we look at Dorothy, but yet the other eye, we look at the rest of the group to see whether the rest of the group still with us or not, basically. So that's very, very important in group counseling. Okay, let's continue. Sorry, I talked too much, but I need to make sure that you're getting what I wanted you to get. So let me go back to the video. Bye, Bunny. Tell me to pause. Thank you. Sing something very important, which is the power of groups. What just happened? Because of Dorothy's deep sharing, it actually moved this other lady called T. Did you not? What happens? As she listens to Dorothy sharing, she began to empathize with her own mother. Why? Her own brother probably made some mistakes of his life. And now as Dorothy shares, she began to wonder, wow, I think my mom also struggles similarly. As a result, she even stretched out her hand to thank Dorothy for what she just did. What do you call this? We call this the power of being in a group. And nothing beats resonance. When a fellow group member shares something that I can resonate with, that I can connect with. Counselor, I can do all this. Don't count one. Because more likely than not, the connection wouldn't be as strong. But for a fellow mother to say this to another mother, wow, the effect is going to be way, way, way different. Got it? That's why the power of groups, this cannot be replicated in individual counseling. Cannot. That's what makes me love to do groups, even though I know it's difficult to do. Okay? Now let's take a look at the blank, shall we? Yeah. Start. Counselor said, there seems to be sadness in the group. So let's go the technique first, okay? Yeah. So what do you think goes into the first blank? There seems to be sadness in the group. What technique do you think is? Take a look at the 15 responses if you can. Right? Someone can try.
Noting
So someone try, give me feedback. Okay, sorry. Something. Yes. Okay,
Noting-
good. Seth.
noting a connection.
Okay. So very, very good. Now, let me just attend to Georgina's point first. Okay. Now, Georgina, giving feedback, right, is more about us giving feedback to some non-verbal. So you're probably right in saying that there is some non-verbal expression of sadness, basically, yeah. But over here, right, I think the group counselor is trying to note a particular theme that's developing, note a particular connection that's developing, more than just purely the non-verbal that she's seeing, basically. So I guess to Seth's point, right? Seth, you're right. It could possibly be noting a connection or noting a theme. So these two is probably very likely. So how come? The group counselor probably noticed, right, that as she began to stretch out her arm to touch Dorothy, as she looked around the room, she probably sensed that the other members, while they are silent, possibly they might also be feeling the same sadness as Dorothy. Right? That's why she said there seems to be sadness in the group. So this one, it could be either noting a theme or a connection. Over here, the intention is to acknowledge what the group might be feeling right now. I say again, the intention is to acknowledge what the group might be feeling right now, to acknowledge. Then over here, this blank, well, the who will be the entire group. The what? What's the what? The who, entire group lah. How about the what? Feelings. Nothing more than feelings. Feelings lah. Got it? So the what will be feelings. Okay? Notice, my friends, for this particular response, there is the where element. No, sorry, not the where. The when element, which is here. Joining you right now. So you look at the right now word, you should be thinking about the here and the now. So in case you lost me, right, let me say that again. So the technique could either be noting a theme, noting a connection. The intent is to acknowledge the whole, the entire group. The what? Feelings. And the when, here and now. Immediacy. Anybody lost by now? Okay. All done copying? Okay, one more comment, we continue. My friends, let me now share with you a very important technique. Okay. Whenever we are doing group counseling, it's important that we do zooming in and zooming out. What do I mean? Up to this point in time, right? Group counselor has been zooming in on who? Dorothy, correct? Not? Now, while it is good, it also comes with risk. What sort of risk? She risks disconnecting with the other group members. Can you follow me, my friends? So this is where, right? Whenever I lead any group, right, similar to what she's doing, as I attend to one member, I have to make sure that at some point in time, I zoom out to make a comment to connect the rest of the group together. So this particular technique, right? Response, there seems to be sadness in the group joining you right now. That technique, right, is really for the group counselor to zoom out and to make a statement to connect everyone together with Dorothy, so that we are not losing the other members as we focus on Dorothy. Can you all follow me so far, my friends? So the toggling between zooming in, zooming out has to be done well. If not, we run the risk of losing people in the group. Same thing. If I only address the group, and the group, guess what? Individual members wouldn't feel connected. So same thing. As I zoom out, I have to zoom in at some point as well. So the toggling between the two zones is something that we have to manage well in any group. You'll see this trend coming back later, and I will attend to it later on as we go back to it. Yeah, just pause. Questions for me so far about what you saw? Okay, let's continue. Back to the video. But can you help me to pause the recording? Right. Let's look at your transcript. At 1:31. Could I just get you to read through that whole long portion again? See whether can you make sense about what Lynn is saying. Oh, then I'll make a comment about that. All done reading? Okay, good. Now, can someone tell me or summarize to me what is Lynn trying to say here?
I guess like she feels like she is being selfish and not.
How come?
Yeah, so I feel like previously she has this thing that okay, she has to have problems so that she can stand out to her mother. Now that in the group setting, she is exposed to all these different ideas, right? And how people are actually experiencing such problems. So she understands that, okay, actually like this was selfish of me to actually find problems or show that I actually have a problem to stand out. So in this scenario, she is she's projecting that she's actually feeling guilty, that like after hearing Dorothy and all her experiences, that like she's actually struggling with something. So I should be grateful, instead, and I feel extremely selfish. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Good try, Jeremy. Good try. Yeah, you hit almost the entire point. Okay, but there's something minor that's missing there, which I'll come to. But very good try, Jeremy, in trying to make sense about why Lynn might be feeling guilty and selfish. Good try, Jeremy, good try. Other people,
Yeah.
add on. Right?
Hi. Yeah. I'm just
go for it.
thinking it seems that she's sort of like shifting the focus, being like they are all mothers sharing, but in this case she's the kid that is being it's like from the other point of view, from the kid point of view rather than from the mother's point of view.
Okay.
I'm not so sure whether is that what you're
Okay, good try.
Yeah.
good try. Good. Yes. Again.
I think
Mira, go for it.
yeah. So I think that she said that she have mentioned that she felt neglected and she feel lonely.
Yes.
So that connects to Dorothy's experience, which is being lonely and also but okay, I so far I've just summarized that.
Okay, yeah, it's a good try. Yes. Okay. All right. Now let me add on to what Jeremy just said, okay? My friends, context again, okay? Lynn mentioned what? Her background, right? She has a stepsister, right? She, stepsister, they share the same mom, different father, correct or not? Right? Okay. What happens? Stepsister turned out to be having troubles in her life. Whereas she turns out to be so-called pretty okay lah, marry a good husband, As a result, what happens? Her mother focused a lot of attention on the stepsister, isn't it? Because stepsister keeps getting into trouble. What did she do? She has to look for problems, right, to get the mother's attention, correct or not? That's the context, huh? Now I want you to focus on what is happening in the group right now. What's happening here? Now, recap again for you, huh? Sue and Linda started off neutral, positive, isn't it? If I make a statement here, Sue and Linda probably belongs to the same camp as Lynn. Can you follow me? However, for the last 5 minutes or so, the focal point was on who? Dorothy, correct or not? Dorothy seems to be resembling Lynn's sister. Can you follow me? Can you understand? Dorothy is saying, right? Oh, my stepchildren now, I don't know whether they are alive. So she's relating, she having problems with the stepchildren, whatever. Because of that, right, Lynn is feeling out of place in the group. Can you follow? Because her life is so perfect as compared to Dorothy. So while the focal point is on Dorothy, wow, she feels macam out of place. She feels lonely and she feels guilty about feeling that way. Can you all follow me so far, my friends? So that is what Lynn is trying to say to the whole group. Anybody miss? Anybody don't understand? Okay, Now let me make a critique about the counselor. Now, the counselor didn't really address Lynn at all. This will come back to haunt her later. So I'll come back to talk more about that. So I think counselor also trying to digest what just happened. Walao, it's like macam if I do baseball, right? Lynn just threw a curveball. You know curveball? Those ones in the baseball. Of course, NFL just finished. But Lynn just threw a curveball at the whole group. I think the counselor also trying to digest. Alamak, what just happened? Then before she know it, V came back to talk about something. Then the counselor conveniently add blur. But her conveniently add blur will come back to haunt her, I can assure you. So we'll get back to that in a moment. Okay, let's continue. Powerful stuff. Come to talk about it. My friends, could I just get you to do a comparison for me? Read through again 1A33, this portion which Dorothy just shared. I want you to compare what she mentioned at 1A33 with what she originally said at 1A4. So I say again, read through 1A33, what Sue said, right? And compare with what she originally said at 1A4. And then we talk about it. All done? Now, what seems to be the major contrast between the two sharing?
I-
1A4 and 1A33.
I think 1A33, she's a bit more vulnerable and a bit more open in her sharing, whereas 1A4, she was a bit more surface level and not deep.
You got it. Thanks, Steph. Now, what do you think facilitated that movement?
Dorothy's sharing.
That's right. And what facilitated Dorothy to share so deeply? It was the group counselor, isn't it? If it wasn't the group counselor who chose to focus on Dorothy, she wouldn't be reaping the fruits now. Can you all follow me, my friends? So I say again, if it wasn't for the group counselor's perseverance, persistence in focusing on getting Dorothy to share more about her experience, this part probably wouldn't have happened. Right? That's why it's so important that when we lead groups, especially support, counseling group, we always want to get to the vulnerable end if we can. No point, you come, I come, wow, we happy, we go back. No point. So it's really about taking it deeper, more vulnerable, so that we can really be helping each other to be dealing with the real stuff, basically. So that's the reason why she's reaping the benefits. Of course, group counselor have to also thank her co-therapist. Suddenly came out from nowhere one. Who is she? V lah. Oh, suddenly macam come in, redirect traffic. It's like she was doing what the group counselor should be doing. So group counselor should be cutting her pay, give some to V, right? Isn't it? So sometimes it works well. You have a very insightful group member who does good work in redirecting traffic. But I'm pretty sure if V didn't do it, I'm pretty sure the group council would have done it anyway. But in this case, V did the nice work, and then of course Sue did the rest in sharing. That's why her final line at 133, very powerful, right? What did she say? 133, final line. I guess I was holding back a little bit. So that holding back what? It's really about her holding back, talking about these vulnerable stuff, these sad moments, these very emotional and painful part of the past. Okay? Yeah. So once again, the power of groups. Like I think Dorothy sharing gave Sue the courage to also come there and share this pain in her heart. If it wasn't for Dorothy sharing, I do not think Sue would be that comfortable to share as well. So the power of groups, once again, prevail. Over here. Continue, All right. To script with me. This part. Please start. Now, in order for you to understand 1A35, we have to go back to look at 1A33 and 1A34. Okay, so come, let's read through that quickly again. 1A33, 1A34, before you can understand why did the group counselor did 1A35. All done? So let me ask. Let me bring you up. 1A34. Dorothy said, she said what? You already experienced what I'm fearful is going to happen. You'll come through it. Let me ask you, what is the fear that Dorothy is fearing?
Her son dying.
Dorothy is fearing
Ah.
that his stepson, who always gets in trouble, will end up dying without changing.
That's right. That's right. Got it. You got it. Oh, got it. So earlier on, right, Dorothy said, I'm not even sure whether my stepson is dead or alive. She's not even sure. Right? So now she just heard Sue said, wow, her son literally died. That's why, as Sue shared that, wow, it became an encouragement to Dorothy. How so? She said, over here, you experience what I'm fearful of, and you've come through it. So it's like, wow, seeing Sue in front of her, narrating this story, and she's still sitting there. That was a big encouragement to Dorothy. Once again, that the power of groups that cannot be replicated anywhere else. And straight away, the group counselor, very sharp. What did she do? She asked a very good question. She asked, oh, so what is it like to hear your greatest fear happening? Notice, group counselor used Dorothy's word, fear, isn't it? Right? Because earlier she said, right? What I'm fearful of is going to happen, isn't it? So she uses Dorothy's word. So what is it like for you to hear your greatest fear happening? So that is where it's coming from. Are you following me? So what's the technique? I'm sure you all know, right? Questioning, isn't it? So technique, questioning. Intent? There are two. One is to explore, and the other, of course, is to challenge. Is to challenge Dorothy to share more. What is it like for her to hear Sue surviving her greatest fear? So the intent is basically to acknowledge, to explore and to challenge, basically. How about the who? Well, over here, the who is individual, Dorothy. The what? Probably is experience, more macro. Got it? So I say again, technique, questioning, intent, to explore, to challenge, the who, individual, the what, experience. And of course, Dorothy said it well. She said, well, I will get through it too. Very encouraged, right? I will get through it too. I mean, she looks like she got it through somehow. I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it never go away, but I think I will get through it as well. So very encouraging. Notice, what did group counselor do? Group counselor at 137. She asked, where is the rest of the group with this pain? Notice, the group counselor is doing what? She's zooming out again. Notice that? She's zooming out again. Because she knows for the last couple of minutes, she's only focusing on a few people, isn't it? Dorothy then now Sue and whatever. So she has to make sure that the rest of the group is still connected with what is happening in this one or two ladies' life. Can you follow me, my friends? So the taking care of the zooming in, zooming out is always something that we have to bear in mind. That's why she's now zooming out. Technique, once again, questioning. Intent, same thing, is to explore and to challenge. The whole, the entire group. The what? Experience as well. So I say again, technique, questioning, intent, to explore, to challenge the whole entire group. The what? Experience. Up to this point, are you still with me? Can I? Okay, good. Now we get to listen to a new member who hasn't spoken yet, but now she will talk. And then Lynn will come back and humdum the group counselor. Not directly, but I'll get to that in a moment. Come, let's go back to the video. 1A 39, right? Notice, she now use a lot more internalized language. Notice that. Right? Why? Earlier kena hantam kena hantam by the counselor. Replace the we with the I, correct or not? So not bad She at least took it to heart. And now she's applying it to herself. Isn't it? Right? But now the counselor hantam her again. Come, see what she says. The group counselor, right? Ask Linda that question. 1A40. What is it like to hear her pain? Why? We can only guess why, right? But what do you think? How come, after, Linda share about, guilt how to handle how come our counselor come in to ask, hey, so what is it like for you to hear her pain? Why? Rebecca, sorry.
Because Linda wasn't talking about her emotions.
That's right. Sweet. My friends, so far, do you notice one thing about Linda? She is the cognitive person. So earlier on, right, if you look at all the other responses, right, she asked, I wonder whether it's guilt the phenomenon. So she's operating mainly at here, the head level. Whereas counselor wanted, at least for this moment, right, for people to be connected at the heart level, the emotions level. Got it? That's why she did what she did. She wanted Linda to connect at the heart level. Can you all follow me, my friends? That's why she asked Linda that particular question. Okay. All right. Continue. Okay, come. Okay, what just happened? So, after Linda shared, about how she deals with guilt herself, right? Then of course, group counselor came in wanting her to connect with the pain a bit more. But Sue found whatever that Linda shared to be helpful, isn't it? Right? So if you look carefully at what Sue said at 1A44, right? So she said, whatever Linda said makes sense. In fact, what Linda said was exactly what I did that helped me to get by my son's death. She recognizes there's such a thing called free will, isn't it? Nothing to it, quite clear cut, right? So then 1A45. What do you think the group counselor is trying to do again? Group counselor, once again, is zooming out, isn't it? Right? Notice? Group counselor is once again zooming out because the focal point has been more on Linda, Sue, and all that. So group counselor felt, it's time for me to zoom out again to ensure that all the rest of the members are still on board with us. All the rest of the members are still connected with what we are saying here. Can you all follow? But this time around, what did she do? She made a few things. Number one, read up to you. She said, let me show you the transcript in case you lost me. Here. Spot. So she said, I noticed there's a real shift in the energy of this group from sadness to anger to sort of wanting to take hold. Now, what technique do you think this is? What technique do you think this is?
Maybe transiting the feelings from one to another.
Transfit. What technique again? Judah?
transiting the feelings from
Okay.
sadness
If you look
to
at the
anger.
15, if you look at the 15 counseling responses, which one is it?
Sorry.
If you look at the 15 group counseling techniques, which one is it?
Oh, that one.
Ah, correct.
Emphasizing on the
Okay,
feeling.
empathizing. Okay, possible, empathize.
Would it be also,
Okay.
Lawrence, noting a connection?
That's right. More likely than not. Yeah, I think it'll be noting a connection again. So not a connection. Okay, not a connection from sadness over to anger, then over to taking hold. So it's really noting this connection from here to here and then to there, basically. Got it? Yeah.
What
So
about,
that could be one possibility.
would it be
Another
noting
one could also,
discrepancy?
not really, because how should I put it? Discrepancy will be more opposites. But what I'm seeing here is more about noting a theme that's evolving. So for me, right, the technique could be either noting a connection or noting a theme. For me, right, I think it's more about noting a theme from sadness onto the theme of anger, onto the theme of wanting to get hold. So I think for me, it's more of noting the theme. To me, that's probably it for me. Okay, good. Now, what do you think is the intention behind she using this technique called noting a theme? The intention is once again to acknowledge, isn't it? It's to acknowledge that, I noticed that there seems to be this theme evolving from sadness to anger to now wanting to take hold. So it's to acknowledge what she senses is happening in the group. Can you follow? Then the who, once again, is the group, the entire group. And then the what is probably sad feelings and probably also some experience as well. Okay. Got it? So that belongs to this first part. This first response. Then the counselor went on to ask a question, isn't it? Yeah. So where are we now in this group? So this one is another response really. So for this one, it's going to be what? The technique is questioning, isn't it? Where are we now in this group? So this one is questioning. Right? Intent, once again, is to explore, to challenge. The who, the entire group. The what is probably experience. But because the counselor used the now word, there's a when now. And the when here is the here and the now. Can you all follow me so far, my friends?
Lawrence,
Yes.
I felt the counselor also used the silence as that also.
Oh, she did. Yeah, correct. So I guess that's part of the deal, basically, the silence part as well. Good. But if you just look at the response itself, then I think it's probably limited to that. Yeah, but you're right. I think she did quite a bit of silence work and all that as well. You're right. As well. Okay, so far, see with me? Okay, good. Now, then comes Lynn, isn't it? So we'll come back to talk about Lynn's response after break. But you notice, right? Lynn came back again to share about what? How distant she felt from the group, isn't it? So it's a continuation from what she shared earlier, isn't it? That she seems to be what? Too good for the group. Right? She said, right? I've never lost a child before. So once again, she's going back to the theme of, wow, my life compared to Dorothy's life, Sue's life, my life too good. I'm really not feeling connected to the group so far. Got this? So she's coming back once again to share how distant she feels from the group. Okay, so we'll come back to talk about this Lynn's response after break. Okay, all right. Okay, before break, questions for me up to this point. Are you all following me, basically, and the video? Okay, good. Time check, now it's 8:33. You can be back by 8:43. We'll pick it up from there. So I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. We get back to look at the video. Let me just make a comment about what what Lynn's response seems to be about. Okay. Could I trouble you once again, if you can, to read through Lynn's responses from 1A 48 all the way down to 1A 58, if you can. So I say again, read through Lynn's response, right? From 1A 48 all the way until 1A 58, 58. That's right. We'll talk about it. Okay, all done? Yep, okay. So, what seems to be the main message behind Lynn's latest responses? Well, she's once again re-emphasizing on how distant she felt, isn't it? So why? Why is Lynn feeling so distant? Once again, it's because she is probably comparing herself with Dorothy. She's probably comparing herself with Sue, isn't it? So comparing herself with these two other ladies, her life is so much more perfect than theirs. And because the focus seems to be revolving around pain, right? She probably felt more and more out of place, more and more not connected to what the rest of the group members are probably feeling. Can you all follow me so far, my friends? Right? And now, I felt if the group counselor would have addressed this particular feeling of Lynn earlier on, maybe Lynn might have felt a bit more at ease in the room right now. But because the group counselor didn't address that earlier on, this feeling of Lynn, of continuing to feel disconnected, continuing to feel distant, continues to linger on all the way until now. Are you all still with me, my friends? So a large part probably has to do with the group counselor not attending to Lynn's sharing earlier on that contributed to her continually to feel this feeling even to this point. Then came the group counselor's very provocative response. At 1A 59. Why did I use the word provocative? Because it really sounds provocative, isn't it? She said what? Wow. 1A 58, Lynn said, wow, I've never lost a child before, you know. The counselor asked, oh, so to belong to this group, you will have to lose a child. Thank God the counselor's voice was very respectful, empathic. If not, I can almost imagine World War V will break out, isn't it? But having said that, this particular statement, in my opinion, was still a little bit too over, in my opinion. Because I just felt Lynn, already don't feel listened to already. Now come back and share again how she felt distant. Group counselor came in straight away. Oh, so to belong to the group, you must lose a child. I don't think it does any favors to the group counselor building a bridge with Lynn. So in my opinion, I probably wouldn't have said what she has said, basically. But since she said it anyway, let's unpack it together. So what do you think is the technique of 1A 59? What the counselor said? Technique? Out of the 15 group counseling responses, what could likely be the one? It could be a few. Yeah.
Maybe she's using classifying.
Classify. Okay, or clarifying, is it? Clarifying?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. One possibility could be, you're right, Triti, it could be clarifying. Now, what she's clarifying, oh, does it mean in order for you to belong to this group, you lose a child? So it could be clarifying. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as well. One possibility could be clarifying. There could be another possibility, which is what?
Is it paraphrasing? Because she's paraphrasing her words.
What she said earlier on. Yeah, could be possible. It could be paraphrasing as well. Could be. Yes. Man Ying, what else?
I was wondering if she was trying to what's the term? Like she's throwing a hunch out there to
yes, got it. That's right.
That bites or not.
Yes, spot on. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. So I was thinking about it could be playing a hunch, it could be clarifying, it could also be paraphrasing. But I think more likely than not is probably the first two. Clarifying and also playing a hunch, in my opinion. Okay, that could be these two. Right. And what seems to be the intention? Well, once again, it's probably to acknowledge, but more likely than not is to challenge. It's like trying to challenge the client. What does it mean? In order for you to belong to this group, you have to lose a child. So it's much like to challenge her to rethink again. If this is really what's your mind, is it really valid? Is it really logical? Basically. So to me, the intent is probably to acknowledge on one level, but also to challenge the client Lin to rethink again on another level. Of course, the who will be individual, right? And of course, the what is probably experience. Because losing a child is like an experience as well. Okay. Yeah. So far, still with me?
Can I check something along? Just a thought. When you're going through with the Lin part, I was wondering whether from the beginning, it seemed like it was like almost like I don't deserve a good life, but because now I have not enough problems, I'm not special enough, and therefore other people got even worse problems, which makes them even stand out better than me, and I feel jealous that they are like that. So it's all about her in that sense. I mean, I got that. I don't know if that's valid or not.
Yeah. Okay. I guess you're probably right. I think it's like she's struggling with a lot of things. Number one, she wants to be empathic, but she's not able to. She wants to be able to feel their pain, but she's not able to. Why? It's because she feels so disconnected with them. So that is what's frustrating her.
It's not about me now. I don't have the problem.
That's right. You got it. Yeah. So I guess it's bringing back again how she feels back home, where because she has not enough problems, she feels left out. But now in the group, she's also feeling left out as well because she's not having enough problems as compared to Sue and Dorothy. So there's a parallel feelings here. There's a parallel experience here for her. But so she wants to be empathic, but she finds it really hard because I feel left out. So how to be empathic if I feel so left out? That's our idea. So she's really just being very vulnerable. You got it. Yeah, that's right.
Great. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so let's continue to finish off this session, and then we'll get to the second session, which is to see. Okay, let's talk about it, shall we? All right. Okay. So for this final segment, what just happened? Well, Lin once again went on to share a bit more about, put it very simply, is she has a lot of conflicting feelings, isn't it? It's like she wants to empathize, but she can't. Right? She wants to put herself away and be with other people, but she can't. She feels guilty about it, right? But yet she wants to let people know about what she's going through, basically. But yet, when people attend to her, she feels like, alamak, why am I getting all the attention, which I didn't want to? But yet, I want to tell people that I'm going through this. So there's a lot of conflict that's going on inside her. And you can see, right, that because she's so conflicted, it also made quite a few of the group members feel a bit agitated, isn't it? You sense? There's this particular lady called Barbara, isn't it? If you look at Barbara's response, at 1A74, she said, you keep saying that it's weird, but you keep talking about it, So you could sense that Barbara was already becoming rather frustrated at Lin, isn't it? Right. So I'll get to that in a moment, basically. Okay, right. But so far, are you still with me about Lynn's struggle? Are we okay so far? Can I? Now let me come back. Let me come back. Okay, good. Now let's unpack Lynn's struggle a little bit more. Okay. Now, why is it that Dorothy actually told Lynn that, oh, I'm looking forward to learning from you how to be selfish? So if we go back to look at 1865, how come Dorothy out of the blue macam say this to her? Why? It's definitely not an insult, I can assure you. Yeah, so Seth, go for it.
I was trying to get her to feel included in the group, that she had something to bring to the group. Like she also has something to bring to the group.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, but from Dorothy's point of view, right? Why does she feel that learning to be selfish will be helpful for her, for Dorothy? Normally, you will never hear people say, oh, I want to learn from you. How can I be more selfish? Quite funny, isn't it? So what makes Dorothy say to Lynn, oh, Lynn, I can't wait to be learning how to be more selfish from you. So why? What got into Dorothy that she needs to learn to be selfish? Why that? How come?
Think more
Maybe
about herself instead of
Dorothy-
children.
Yes, Jermaine, go for it.
She start to think more for herself more rather than her children.
Okay, that's right. She starts to think more for herself. Okay, why? Jermaine, you're there already. Why would Dorothy now want to think more for herself than for her children? Why? How come? You're almost there already. You're there already.
Is it because of what was it Sue or the other one that shared about the story about how she learned how to get over her son's death?
Okay, good. So here comes, my friends. It's once again going back to what Linda first shared. What is Linda shared? Linda shared about what? Free will, isn't it? She said, our society seems to paint a picture, that we mothers have a lot of control, can control how our children make decisions. Can control their fate and all that. But actually, we have very little control. So guess what? So it's going back again to what was said earlier on by Linda, echoed by Sue, that actually mothers don't really have that much control. That as we keep blaming ourselves for what happened to our children, maybe we should start to cut ourselves some slack. Maybe we should exercise more grace to ourselves. You what? Maybe we should exercise more compassion on ourselves. You what? Ourselves. Myself. Can you all follow me, my friends? That's why when Lynn came in to say, it's not about my children, it's about me. It's about me, okay? I'm struggling, I want to be connected, but I cannot. It's about me, it's about me. Guess what? Lynn has the capability to take care of herself. It's about me. And that's why Dorothy seems to think, wow, I want to learn from her. I want to learn to put myself first. I want to learn to focus on myself as well. That's why she said to Lynn, I want to learn from you how to be selfish. Why am I talking about this for such a long time? Here comes the reason. My friends, I felt the group counselor could have done what I just said. Wow, I'm very good. No, I'm not. Let me just elaborate a bit more. Now, when Dorothy asked that question, she's right. I want to learn from you. Right? Group counselor asks, oh, what happens when Dorothy said you're going to teach her about being selfish? I felt that question came too early. What do I mean? I would have preferred the group counselor to ask a question to Dorothy instead of Lynn. What do I mean? I will ask, oh, Dorothy, could you explain a bit more about what are you hoping to learn from Lynn about being selfish? Can you all follow me, my friends? Because I feel Lynn jumped the gun too early to say, oh, it's a bad thing. Oh, she don't know how to be selfish. Oh, it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Now, I believe that after Dorothy shared more about what is it about selfish I want to learn from, maybe Linda might feel better. Maybe Lynn might then, oh, okay, not bad. Okay, now I see the point. Yeah, maybe there's a place for selfishness to be a good thing, that kind of idea. So I just felt like the question here could have been focused on getting Dorothy to clarify more about what she meant by wanting to learn more from Lynn about being selfish. Are you all still with me? You look quite puzzled. Okay or not? Okay, got it? Then after that, then this question that we saw at 166, then the one can come in later. But since it's there already, let's talk about it. So, what do you think is the technique for 1A66? Technique 1A66. Haircut, right? Questioning, isn't it? Right? 166, questioning. Right? How about the intent? Same thing, is to explore, to challenge. The whole individual. Why? The question was targeted at Lynn herself. So the whole individual. And once again, the what is probably experience as well. Good. Finally, let me comment on how the group counselor ended the session. I don't know about you. I felt the ending was way too abrupt for me, especially after what Lynn just shared. My friends, one thing to always remember, when someone just shared something that's very vulnerable, it's so important for us to not hurriedly close off the session. You know why? Because it just sent home a message that whatever that Lynn shared wasn't that important. We hurry close so that we can move on. Now, while Lynn wants to move on, no doubt about it, right? But I, as a group counselor, I have to do much better than that. So what I do? First thing I want to do is I will have to ask about Lynn. Oh, so Lynn, how is it like for you to share these vulnerable struggles to the group? I'll do that. Right? So I want to be attending to Lynn a bit longer. And after that, I will do a summary. Oh, so today we'll talk about this, that. What seems to be some takeaways that you guys are bringing before we end off the session? That kind of thing. So I'll prefer the ending to be way more elaborate than this, basically. All right. Comments, questions for me about session A or session 1 before we take a look at session B. Well, the session B, very fiery one. You can expect more fireworks for session B. That's for sure. Yes, Rebecca, go for it.
Yeah, I was also looking at the counselor's face while she was listening to Lynn. So I was asking myself, so what face should the counselor have when, members share this kind of details or even like emotional details like the deaths? And another question is, if the group doesn't want to share from an honest place, like what I think Linda or one of the first two did, is it okay for the therapist to point it out, like, hey, we are not being like honest or like vulnerable here? So should the counselor poke or probe?
Okay, got it. Okay, Ken. Okay, let me just attend to the first question. So, first question: what should the facial expression of the group counselor be when members are talking about vulnerable themes like losing a child and all that? I guess the face I want to be appearing is one of empathy and also one of curiosity in wanting to find out more, basically. So that'll be what I'll do. I guess for Lynn, right, I probably may even reveal a look of feeling a bit confused. Because I think for Lynn herself, right, she's having all these conflicting feelings, isn't it? Well, she wants, she wants to get the attention, but she's getting it. She wants to be empathic, but she can't, that kind of thing. So I guess as she talks, if I were to also look a bit confused, I think that might also kind of, what's the word? Resonate where she is, which is about she also being confused. And then I can begin to ask some questions along the way. So I guess to sum it up, I guess I want to be looking empathic. I want to be looking with curiosity. And for Lynn's case in particular, I want to be looking a bit conflicted as well, or confused as well. So that'll be what I'll do. Coming to your second question, is a very good one, Rebecca, is what happens if only Sue and Linda is sharing deeply? All the rest macam talk superficially or don't talk much. What do I do? I guess a few things I will do. First thing I may want to do is I may want to note a theme. So I might say, oh, it seems to me that while Sue and Linda are talking deeply, there seems to be an overall concern for the rest of us about sharing more vulnerable things to the group. What am I doing? I'm noting a theme here. What am I doing? I'm calling it out. So the group may think, Lawrence Ho, stupid one, never notice one. No, I want to let the group know, you may think that I am not observing, but I am definitely observing. But I want to make sure that I don't come across as being too imposing. I'm just saying, well, it seems to me that this is what I noticed. Just by saying that, what am I doing? I'm calling it out. And I'm now challenging the group, especially those who haven't spoken yet, to perhaps speak up. That's what I'm doing. Let's say, for example, after I've done that, right, nobody speak up still. What do? Then I may want to go back to Sue and Linda. So Sue and Linda, I wonder, how is it like for the two of you to share so deeply about your life, but yet not hearing how the rest of the group's life has been? Notice? So now I move from the large group challenge to now leveraging on the subgroup. I hope Sue and Linda will share, wow, I feel so shortchanged, And if they say that, now I trust that the other members may then come in to share something. So that'll be what I'll do. So I'll first start with the large group, then I'll go to the smaller group to do that. So that'll be what. Rebecca, thanks. Good question. Very good question you asked. Very good. I thought I heard something in the background. Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. That's Pauline. Go for it.
Lawrence, yeah, correct. Back to the question that you just answered, Rebecca, right? Just for my understanding, to form a support group like this, right? Is there an objective right from the start? So clients that have the same objective will join the support group and not rather, join the group without any objective.
Good question. Good. Okay. Now, more often than not, for support groups, usually people will come voluntarily, usually for support group. And they come voluntarily because they recognize they have a problem and they want to be seeking support by fellow strugglers who are also going through the same thing. That's normally the case. But having said that, right, there will always be some outliners, no outliners, who come, want support, but their experience is rather different from the predominant group. So for Lynn, she's probably belong to that category where, outliner, because I mean, it's like usually we will have screening for support group, isn't it? So we just say support group for mothers who is battling with transition, for teenager to become adults. Probably that will be what we'll say. So people will come. So there's some commonality there, no doubt about it. But the actual experience that each group member brings to the group, for some, they could actually be outliners. And this is where we are paid to do the job as a counselor. We are paid to be able to be inclusive. We are paid to make people like Lynn and Dorothy feel at home. That's our job. We are paid to help the other group members to also be embracing to Lynn's experience as well as Dorothy's experience. So that's our job, basically. So that's why the struggle is here for us to do a good job about that. Not easy, but that's what we do. Yes, Christina, go for it.
I just have a question because usually on certain part of the opening, they will be asked to set a goal, right? So is it
Yes, you're right.
appropriate, like in this case, like to do the closing, summarizing, and to ask the group maybe throw out questions like how far do you think you are reaching your goal or at which point of time? So get them to refocus on the goal. Why are they being here?
Okay, got it. I suppose, right, for support groups, usually we may not be as goal-driven compared to a counseling group. For support group, it's just basically we come together, right? We share, then we then support one another. So I guess for me, for support groups, I tend to go more generic, like, oh, your takeaways for this session. What resonated for you? What are you taking away from? What do you, so basically it's more about what resonated for you, what are you taking away from? I suppose if I were to be running a counseling group per se, that is where I think, coming back to Christina's point, I may then want to go back to the goal a bit more intentionally. But for support group, I tend to do a bit more generic stuff, like checking in with the group at the end, usually for me.
Okay. And then at which point of time, is it like very towards more of like the last few session that you will see that the client has achieved like certain moving on past certain hurdles, then we raise this question up, or as and when we get actually any session that we can actually raise this question?
Okay, I guess for counseling group, I may raise this question in almost every session for counseling group. But for support group, I will tend to remain generic all the way through for me. So it comes down once again to what sort of group am I leading, and that will determine greatly how will I be more goal-driven or less goal-driven. So I guess that will be what will inform me about that, basically.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right. Other comments for me or questions? Yeah, Ken. So now we will get to session 2, where there will be a lot more fireworks that you can expect. Yep. So same thing, Bernie, I'm going to upload session 2 transcript on Zoom group chat. You will help me to put it up on the Dropbox, and you also help me to email to the 4 ladies as well. Thanks. So here we go. Okay, it's there. If you look at your Zoom group chat, there's this PDF file, transcript session 2. Download it. For the 4 ladies, don't worry, my good friend Bernie will email to you the transcript. For the rest of us, if you can't see it there, you can go to the Dropbox to check it out. I'm sure it's there already.
Sorry, I can't add it to the Dropbox. So for those who can't download, can you just have the email?
Will do. Thanks, Bernie. So those who can't see it for whatever reason, right? You can leave your emails behind, and then Bernie will email that to you. All got it? Let me show you how it looks like. Okay. You should look. The first page should be this. Are you seeing the same thing? That's what I'm showing. Okay. Okay. So now, same thing. I would like you to keep this particular transcript somewhere around your screen while I play for you session number 2, session B, basically. Same thing. I'll be interrupting the session to process with you what's going on. That's what I did just now for session A or session 1. Okay. All right. So here we go. Could I invite you to once again go back and read through what Linda just said? and I'll comment on what she just said. Quite abstract, I know. It took me a while to understand also, to be honest. So go back and look at 1B2, read through what Linda said, and try to decipher what is she saying. Okay, then I'll comment about it. Okay, so let me come out to join you. Can someone explain to me or summarize to me what is Linda trying to say here? What's she trying to say? What seems to be the main message that Linda is trying to send home, in particular to Linda?
I'm not sure whether it's right, but just taking a guess. It's like saying we always think that the grass is greener on the other side, but actually it might not be so. That there's always a downside to things. So it's more like saying acknowledging the fact that Lynn's sharing actually gave her another perspective of how the problem is, and sort of comforted her a bit that it's not that bad. So I think that's one benefit of group counseling, in that you see different perspectives.
Good. You actually got the macro perspective. That means, if I will say it this way, you have gotten the overall message correctly already. Okay. So now the challenge is to take what you just said, right, to make it a bit more micro. Okay. So now let me help us out. Okay. Let me just link up to what you just said. Now, recap again for us. Recap again. What is the birth order of Lynn? A bit complicated. That's a memory of it. What is the, okay, I'm using a term that I taught in the previous module. I apologize. Those who have been with me for marital therapy, you'll know birth order. Means, are you the eldest? Are you the middle? Are you the youngest or the only child? So what is Lynn's birth order?
The youngest.
Very good. She is both the youngest, right? And also the only. Or blur. I say again, recap. Lynn and the step sister, they both share the same mother, but different father. Correct or not? So technically speaking, right, the step sister is older than her. Correct or not? Right? That was where, right, the step sister's father abandoned them. Right? That was how their common mother remarried. After remarried, Lynn came into this world. Are you all following me so far? So technically speaking, right, the stepsister is the oldest. Lynn is the youngest. So far, okay? Now, how about Linda? What birth order is Linda occupying?
Middle child.
Middle, that's right. Now, before Lynn shared, what was Linda's perspective about the eldest and the youngest in any family? What was the perspective before Lynn shared what she shared?
I think she said getting all the attention it's actually a good thing, but actually there's a painful part to it.
You got it. That's right. Huh? So basically, right, before Lynn shared, Linda had this particular bias. Wow, it's so nice, to be the eldest, to be the youngest. Oh, how I wish I can be the eldest, I can be the youngest. She's saying that, isn't it? But Brian, what just happened? Lynn, being the youngest, didn't really get the attention. Can you follow me, my friends? So, suddenly, Linda got new insight. Oh, so it's never always the case all the time. Youngest will get it all. It's never always all the time that oldest will get it all. There are exceptions to the rule. Can you follow me? Can you understand that? So going back to Ing's point, the power of groups. This kind of insight, most powerfully lay one. Individual counseling, we can do all that we can. Still, the client may not get it. But just by Lynn sharing what she shared, Linda got the insight already. So that once again goes back to the power of groups and what groups can do that individual counseling may not be able to accomplish. Okay. So now let's continue, shall we? Now is where the fire will begin to start. Now, could I just invite you again now to read through from 1B6 all the way until 1B18, 1.8. Okay? Just read through that this page again, and then I'll talk about it with you. All done? 1B6 all the way to 1B18. Okay, good. Now, 1B6. What was Barbara confessing to the group? She was actually confessing that she too felt selfish. My friends, significant. You know why? If you go back to the first session at the tail end, Barbara was basically reacting to Lynn, was she not? About what? About Lynn being so selfish, isn't it? To take all the limelight on herself at the tail end of the session, isn't it? But guess what? The last thing that I expect Barbara to do at the start of this session is to own up that she too also experienced being selfish. See, if you look at it, my friends, is this, right? There is some similarity between Barbara in the first session and Lynn in the first session. Quite similar. Both wanted their issues to be dealt with, isn't it? Can you follow me, my friends? The only difference here is Lynn had the courage to come clean with the group, right? I want to be connected, but I feel so distant, right? But Barbara didn't. But what's common? They both wanted their needs to be met. They both wanted to have a connection with the group. Can you all follow me, my friends, so far? Can you understand that? So that's the reason why, right? Miraculously, whatever that Lynn shared in first session, actually, for some strange reason, resonated with Barbara. So much so that Barbara came clean, second session, say, well, I have to admit, I also struggle with selfish. Because I wanted the group, my issue, but didn't. No, I also felt selfish. I felt angry, whatever. Notice? So can you see the link there? Right. Once again, the power of groups and what that does. It actually challenges group members in a very, very, very atypical manner. In my opinion, right, I never saw this coming, But when it happened, I must say, it's only groups that can do this kind of thing. Individual counseling, usually will never get this, more often than not. Now, returning back, 1B6. Besides Barbara admitting I was selfish, there was another theme that came up, isn't it? What was the theme that came up? She feeling angry, correct? Angry at who? Angry at the group for not meeting her need, for not helping her with her stuff, isn't it? Are you still with me? Then now comes the best part. How come the group counselor did what she did? So if you look again, right, from B7 all the way to B17, what was the group counselor trying to do here? Can someone summarize for me? 1B7 all the way to 1B18. What's the group counselor trying to do?
Maybe trying to peel off the layers and find.
Okay, peel off. So peel off what layers, Trita?
Trying to figure out like what she's angry about and how the group can actually help her.
Okay, so thank you, Trita. In other words, my friends, the group counselor was trying to facilitate Barbara to stay on the theme of anger. Barbara was all set to siam, Hokkien word, run away from acknowledging that she's angry, correct or not? But the group counselor have none of that. She wanted Barbara to stay with the anger. Treated them, unpeel the layers, say more about anger. My friends, can someone tell me why? Why? What makes the group counselor do this? Before I give you the answer, why? Is she a sadist? I don't think so Well, it may appear that she's a sadist, but I can assure you she's not. As though I know her personally, I don't. But I can assure you she's not. So why? What makes the group counselor do what she's doing here? Why?
Can I?
Yeah, Jubilee, go for it.
I think she acknowledges that it's very important to like fix the feelings so that and work on the feelings to know why she's feeling all these different emotions so that she doesn't end up projecting or something like that.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Jubilee. Paraphrase what she just said. Number one, the group counselor did what she did because she wanted to acknowledge, not just to Barbara, but the whole entire group, that feelings are important. Lagi better. Anger as a feeling is important. Friends, I hope you will never, I won't say never I hope you will not be involved in this kind of group that early. When you are involved in running family violence groups, like what I mentioned to you all before, right? That's where you come face to face with the emotion of anger directly. So I remember I shared with you all that in my career, I've done groups helping men who has issues with violence towards their family members. In those kind of groups, you will come face to face with emotions of anger. So summarize it. So over here, right, the group counselor wanted to send home a few messages. Number one, feelings are very important. Number two, anger as a feeling is very important. Number 3, making the environment safe for Barbara to stay with the anger, to unpeel this anger is important, so that the other group members can also start to talk about negative emotions, make sense of what they mean later on in the group as well. Can you follow me, my friends? Yeah. Let me ask a very personal question. No need to answer, okay? Let me just throw it out to you. When you see what the group counselor did, right, from 1A7 to 18, right, I'm sure that some of you actually felt a bit uncomfortable. Now, if you feel uncomfortable, it's perfectly normal. You know why? Typical Asian culture, we have been taught from day one that anger is an emotion that we should deny. If you're as old as me, I keep saying that because I'm 51 this year, you probably will know. My generation and older, we have been taught from day one, harmony most important. Peace most important. Anger, no. Enemy, cannot feel one. Better still deny. Better still never show any anger. Best. What happens? My generation of people, we end up having a lot of internal injury. Means what? As we keep denying anger, the anger turns inwards. And we begin to have so much problems later on. So over here, right? So when you want to do counseling well, you have to ask yourself, what emotions are you very scared to acknowledge in your life? What emotions are you very afraid to stay with? Because those emotions that you struggle to stay with will probably be the same emotions that you will struggle to facilitate your group to stay with as well. Can you all follow me, my friends? So it's a very, 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 very important question that I want you to go back and think and answer honestly. And the earlier you come to that answer, the better it would be. Ask yourself, what is so frightening for me to stay with my anger? What is so frightening for me to stay with sadness? What is so frightening for me to stay with guilt? What is so frightening for me to allow myself to stay with whatever? The earlier you know what that struggle is, the better it will be for you in becoming a counselor later on. Up to this point, things to ask me? Okay, now let's get to 1B18. Wow, I must confess to you, 1B18 is superbly done. So, what do you think the technique is? 1B18. It's very clear, the technique. Very clear. What is the technique? Help us understand this, right? Go back to read 1B17 again.
Maybe it's directing.
Okay, definitely it's directing, but there is a very specific thing that the counselor is directing to. What is it?
The anger that she feel about her childhood past.
Yep, correct. Yes, correct. Something more than that.
Is it noting
It's about anger, no doubt about it, but
discrepancy?
something more than that. Yes, sorry.
Is it
You mean?
noting a discrepancy?
Yes. Come explain to us the working. What is the discrepancy about that? You're there already, Jamin. Enlighten us.
Because Barbara said she has never been angry with any of the people are angry with a lot of things.
Ah,
When
yes,
the
yes,
counselor
yes.
mentioned that when she left the session, right, she was actually feeling angry as when she confessed in the beginning of session B.
Correct. My friends, thank you so much, Jermaine. My friends, answer, if you compare 1B6 with 1B17, what do you get? I say again, if you compare 1B6 with 1B17, what do you get?
It's like direct opposites.
That's right, isn't it? 1B6, Barbara confessed. Walao, I felt angry, I came to the group, wanting the group to work on my issue, They never, hinting that Lin stole the thunder, basically, I'm angry, 1B17, I've never been angry with anyone in my life, like real. So can you see, my friends, what's happening here? There's obviously a what? Discrepancy. She confessed she was angry. 17? No lah, I've never been angry with anyone in my life. There's obviously a discrepancy here. Can you follow me, my friends? And once again, the group counselor is not letting Barbara go easy. Because Barbara is trying to wiggle herself out from having to stay with this anger. Wiggle herself out by trying to convince herself and everybody else, I don't feel angry one. But in reality, she actually can feel angry. And she did feel angry. Technique, noting a discrepancy. Intent, definitely to challenge. Challenge what? Challenge Barbara to own up that you do and you did feel angry. The whole individual. Barbara, of course, the what? Feelings That's for sure. Are you still with me?
Sorry, can I ask?
Go for it.
In this sense, when the counselor is challenging,
yes.
I guess it goes with experience, but it can go both ways, right? So some people might not be able to take it, but like how do we assess whether that person will be able to take it? Sometimes when we say it out, it's like irreversible kind of thing.
Yeah, true. I guess it's a lot to do with observation. Sometimes also gut feel, to be honest. Also, I like the way the counselor did it. Once again, she has a very gentle tone to her voice. I think that helps. That helps. If it's me, maybe the Barbara will have walked out of the room. Me and my thunderous voice. But of course, when I'm a counselor, I'm different. But anyway, so I think it's observation. It's also a gut feel. But the most important thing is our delivery of such a response has to be very empathic, which I think the counselor did very good job. So let me roll what Ing just asked me. Let's say, right, Barbara denied. Don't have what do I do? Then I will come into, once again, I will note a theme. I will say, oh, it seems to me that, Barbara, you are finding it hard to acknowledge that you have the ability to feel angry. I wonder, where is this fear coming from? But I'm there already. So now, right, what am I doing? Now, I want to invite Barbara, right, to tell me, what is the reservation behind you not wanting to stay with anger? Can you all follow me so far? Got it? So that'll be what I'll do. If Barbara continues to want to wiggle herself out from wanting to take ownership that she did feel angry last session, basically. That'll be what I'll do. Okay, quickly moving on. I want to hear the juicy part. Come, let's continue. Yes, looking at time. Never have enough time on. So let me wait. What's the first one? Okay. Now, once again, if you were to read through 1B19 onwards, what do you get? You notice, right, that even after the group counselor did what she did at 1B18, Barbara only managed to say, oh, I'm only angry at myself, right? She still didn't say who she was angry with in the group. Did she not? She wasn't able to say, right? What happens? So counselor continue to make her feel uncomfortable. Counselor continue to facilitate Barbara to own up. Who are you feeling with in the last session, basically? So finally, Barbara said, at you, because you keep pushing me and pushing me and pushing me. Now comes the key part, which I want you to take note of. Here, take a look at 1B24. Counselor asked, what is it like? What are you feeling? Barbara said, it's shame. It's shame. Come, now let me show you a concept. Concept. This concept sounds a bit profound, but I'll break it down for you very simply. It's called polish your head. Walao, 10 o'clock. This guy too profound already. Feelings about feelings. First and foremost, before I explain further, right, let me give credit where it's due. It was actually made famous by a lady who I respect a lot. Her name is Virginia Satir. One of the most famous family therapists, female family therapists that ever lived on the face of the earth. Someone that I respect a great deal, someone that I've learned a lot just by watching her at work and also reading her books. So, Satir actually came out with this idea called feelings about feelings. Means what? Now let me make it simple for you. Okay? Now, when we talk about feelings, it means this. Bring back Barbara's example. Feeling? Anger, right? Now, she seems to have a lot of difficulty acknowledging, right, that she can feel angry. Correct or not? Satir probably would say the main reason why Barbara refuses to feel angry is because of her feeling about feeling angry. Are you still with me? So what did she just say in the transcript? She said, when she feels angry, it is shame. So, whenever Barbara feels angry, what happens? Instead of acknowledging that she's angry, she doesn't, because straight away, ayo, it's shameful, no, it's shameful. Ayo, I feel so shameful, I feel angry, feel shameful, I feel angry. What happens? The shame actually stops her from acknowledging her anger. Can you all follow me so far, my friends? So going back to what I shared with you all earlier on, which is very serious. What was it? Remember I said to you all, go back and ask yourself, what emotions do you have difficulty acknowledging? Remember that? The serious thought I just gave you? Same thing. Once you are able to identify what are those emotions that you find it hard to stay, you find it hard to acknowledge, I want you to ask yourself this question. What question? When you feel that feeling, what are some feelings that you feel about that feeling? Because the feelings that you feel about that feeling could just be the very thing that is stopping you from feeling that feeling. Am I making sense to you? Okay? Very serious, Really. If you want the growth to become a good counselor, this is something that I need you to take on seriously. Okay? Got it? But a lot of times, so make it even simple for you, it is. Anger, right, is considered the primary feeling. Shame is considered the secondary feeling. Okay? So more often than not, the secondary feeling about the primary feeling stops us from acknowledging and feeling the primary feeling. Okay? So that is something which I want you to always remember. Same thing, when you lead a group, when you are working one-to-one, if you sense that your client keeps running away from acknowledging some feeling, ask them, oh, so when you find yourself feeling angry, what seems to be another feeling that you feel that makes you don't want to acknowledge this anger? I'm getting to the secondary feeling about the anger, about the sadness, about the whatever. Got it? So that's why, going back to the transcript, okay, back here again, scroll it down. Yeah. That's why the counselor asks, right? What is it like? What are you feeling? As you stay with the anger, what are you feeling? She's basically inviting Barbara to come out with the secondary feeling, which she did, secondary, which is shame. Got it? Good. Once again,
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes. There's a question. Yes, go for it. Yes, ask.
Yeah. So just trying to sort of like paraphrase my understanding. So can I say that the secondary feeling is the answer or solution to stop you from feeling the primary feeling? Is that a right?
No, it's not a solution. It's probably a barrier.
Oh, okay. So it's more of
it's a barrier.
having identified the barrier will help you understand why you're feeling the primary.
You got it. You got it. Sure. Or once I know the barrier, we can then figure out where did this barrier come from.
It's like going to the source of the problem kind of thing.
In a way, if you can put it that way, in a way.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Okay. Now, let me go back to the transcript. I'm mindful of time. Mindful of time. Okay, let me go back to transcript again. Once again, right? Group counselor did a very good job in zooming out. Did she not? What she knew, up to this point, she was focusing only on Barbara. Correct or not? So she knew, wow, better zoom out. If not, everybody disconnect already. What did she do? She straight away did, this part. How's the group right now with this? This year, of course, is on anger, basically. And that is where, as she zooms out, Sue begin to come in to share what? To share about how angry she's beginning to feel at the group counselor. Are you all still with me? Now, if I can read the group counselor's mind, she's probably rejoicing in her mind. You know why? For Sue, up to this point, well-mannered, gentle-hearted Sue, to say to the group counselor, I'm angry at you. Guess what? The group counselor has already achieved her purpose, which is she wanted, through Barbara's example, to send to the whole group the message that this group, you can be very open to share about feelings. So for Sue to say to the group counselor's face, I'm angry at you, that is what we want to achieve in the group. For members to be open to share openly about how they feel. That is being vulnerable. That is being personal. That is about really helping the group to be going deeper. Got it? So once again, my friends, if you're someone who is very uncomfortable, when someone say to you, I'm angry at you, this is an area that you have to work at it. Because in counseling, we're always trying to move the group or the individual client towards more intimate sharing. So when I say I'm angry at you, while it may hurt to hear that, I'm just being intimate to tell you how I feel. So it's always about moving our clients towards more intimate connections with people that they love. People, in this case, in the basically. Okay. That's why you soon discover one of the biggest growth that all of us have as counselors is we have to come face to face with being comfortable with intimacy. Only then can we help our clients to become more and more comfortable with being intimate as well. Okay, so there's something to remember, basically. Okay, but let's stop. Was it helpful for us to view these two sessions? Hope it was helpful in some ways. So next week, first part, I want to finish off session 2. There's some more firework that I want to show you, basically. Then I will talk to you about how can you prepare for your mock-up group session. So don't worry, I'll talk about it at length next week, about the transcript, what to do, whatever not, I'll talk about it next week. Then I'll move us to look at our final component, which is stages of group development. So we'll get to that next week as well. Okay? So all of that will be unpacked next week. All right. Final comments, questions for me before we call it a night. Yes, Rita, I notice your mic is off. Come, go for it.
No, I was going to say thank you, Mr. Lawrence, and good night.
No problem. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure most of you on spare battery already. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, okay. Now, I'm sure you have some questions for me. Those of us who, if you have any clarifications about your group assignment, feel free to stay back to ask me. The rest of you, if you have no questions for me, have a good evening. Stay safe and healthy. I'll see you guys back next Wednesday for our, 6th lesson together, if I'm not wrong. Take care. I'll see you all.
Thank you, Lawrence. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Good
See you all.
night.
Bye-bye. Yeah, good night. See you
Mr.
all.
Lawrence, good night.
Take care.